So I was scrolling through Twitter the other day, as one does, when I came across a post from my friend Nintendon, in which he posted a clip from the beginning of the Wii Fit U Direct from 2013. In that video, they turned Iwata's directly hand gestures into a Wii Fit exercise. It was so funny and clever. This got me thinking a lot about the Wii U era and what I miss about it. Now, don't get me wrong, Nintendo was really struggling back then, what with the Wii U flopping in terms of sales, but their desperation in selling more Wii U's gave birth to some of their most iconic marketing moments. Remember Reggie fils-aimech? But even putting that desperation aside, there are features about the Wii U and even 3DS that the Switch has not replicated to this day that, frankly, it should have, such as Street Pass and Miiverse. Now, of course, the Nintendo Switch is more successful than both the Wii U and the 3DS combined, which raises the question, has Nintendo's success made them boring?
Boo this man!
Now, before you get mad at me, I'm not out here saying that the Wii U and 3DS was a better generation than the Switch, because that's just completely false. Nintendo fans have been eating this generation thanks to a vast quantity of quality games, which is something that the Wii U was seriously lacking with those months-long software gaps. It was really tough. I even made a video a few months back talking about how we are indeed in the golden age of Nintendo. Not only do we have these great games coming out from many different franchises, but we're also having movies and theme parks in the works. Nintendo's just at the top of their game. But at what cost? Even despite this success, I feel as if Nintendo has lost some of its charm from the years of the Wii U and 3DS, even going back further to the Nintendo DS and the Wii. Because the Switch, as cool as it is, has some missing features that are frankly baffling in this day and age. I'm even talking about features that were on the Wii and DS. So in this video, I'm going to go over the elements of what I miss about Nintendo in their BS era. BS meaning before Switch. Number 1, the Nintendo Directs. The early stages of the Nintendo Direct were experimental and resulted in some creative and rather funny moments. I mean, we had Lego Iwata, Reggie roasting us for not owning a 3DS, and of course, bananas. Apparently this didn't happen in a Nintendo Direct, instead right after their E3 2012 press conference, but whatever, it's still awesome. As the years went on, they kept getting more and more outrageous with the skits, such as Bill trying to escape Reggie in an elevator, a mini Bill Trennan during a Direct Mini, and my personal favorite, Bill Trennan stuffing his face with donuts.
Bill! 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 Bill!
And come E3 time, these Directs would turn into Nintendo digital events. And they were very much events. Nintendo understood the importance of E3, and they wanted to celebrate with us, the fans, by hiring the likes of Robot Chicken and the Jim Henson Company to make fun and entertaining sketches. That Robot Chicken one was especially interesting because Nintendo made fun of themselves in it. This doesn't happen now, and it certainly didn't back then aside from this one sketch.
Come on, Reggie, give us Mother 3!
How about this instead?
What's more is that a lot of these directs were hosted by the president of Nintendo, Satoru Iwata. Yeah, the guy in charge wanted to be on camera to talk about these games with us, the fans, while also interacting with his colleagues Shigeru Miyamoto and Reggie Fils-aime in the most funny ways possible. I mean, come on, they announced Amiibo by having Iwata and Reggie duke it out Smash Bros style. You can't get more epic than that. And because Iwata started out as a developer himself, I'm sure he was responsible for the directs focusing on the developers shortly after the games were announced. I remember seeing in-depth looks at Yoshi's Woolly World, Star Fox Zero, and Hyrule Warriors. It was really cool to see them highlight the people responsible for creating these games. In a way, a Nintendo Direct wasn't just to tell you what games were coming up first, they also served as kind of a celebration of the medium. You could tell the people at Nintendo were just as enthused about the upcoming games as you, the viewer, were. And while current Nintendo Directs have a lot more games shown off in them, and I mean a lot more, they feel less personable. The people who host them now are just talking heads saying stuff like,
"Let's see our first batch of Nintendo Switch headlines. Next, please take a look at this. Let's continue with some more headlines. This next video will be our last announcement."
Like, why are they even there at this point? There have been some moments in recent directs where they do something a little funny, like this
Why aren't you saying anything?
He was so into it, I didn't want to interrupt.
There was also this 2019 bit with Doug Bowser that was worth a good chuckle, but this was really the first and last time he made an appearance in a Nintendo Direct. And I get that the current presidents don't need to be part of the Directs because it's not in their job descriptions, but it is extremely impactful when leaders like Reggie and Iwata take the screen with their infectious energy just to tell you about the games that are coming out for Nintendo platforms. It's one thing that Nintendo doesn't put skits in their Directs anymore. But what ultimately disappoints me is that these Directs feel now like they're made out of corporate obligation and not out of genuine love for the craft. Sure, watching them can still be exciting, as seen by my Metroid Prime Remastered reaction, but at the same time, it feels like a corporation just telling me what to get excited about consuming in the near future. That's pretty much it. Point number 2. Where's the flair? Here, let me show you my Metroid 3DS. Ah, look at that. It's so cool, isn't it? It has this neat Samus wallpaper to go with it. Sure, it's a bit slow nowadays, but it still looks a hell of a lot cooler than this. Don't get me wrong, when I first bought the Switch, I was so happy the menu was fast and snappier than on the Wii U and 3DS, and I couldn't wait for it to be updated with future software patches. Now, 7 years later, not much has changed. It looks almost exactly the same, aside from that one NSO icon, and you're telling me that we still only have black and white as themes? Give me a break. I know that while the Wii U menu had a lot more flair, it was rightfully dogged for being too slow, a problem that the Switch UI doesn't have. But would it be too much to ask for a healthy balance of both speed and style? Sonic could do it, why can't you, Nintendo? But if you really want to see a downgrade, look at the Wii U eShop compared to the Switch eShop. Now that thing looks and runs worse. And by the way, where's the music? The Wii U eShop had some music that changed throughout the season, and the Wii was just filled with all kinds of classic tracks like the Wii menu, the Wii Shop channel, the Me channel. Heck, when you make a Me on the Switch, no music plays at all, and it just doesn't feel right. So these bare bones menus could have been more acceptable in just the first year or so of the Switch's life, but we're going on 7 years now, and they still have barely changed. But at least we got groups, right? They're like folders, but worse. Point number 3, a serious lack of social interaction. You know, interactions like hitting that subscribe button and notification bell. For decades, man, Nintendo has been all about the social interaction. You couldn't find a Wii commercial that wasn't a group of people all huddled around a living room. And you know what? They kind of are still about that local multiplayer when you look at games like 1-2 Switch and Super Mario Bros. Wonder, but believe it or not, they used to be better about online social interactions. Let's talk about the best 3DS feature, Street Pass. This incentivized you to take your 3DS out of your house and collect puzzle pieces and take Mii's through many different types of games. Because you'd pass by other people with a 3DS, and then you'd swap data between 3DSs. Such a cool feature. Whenever I used to go to conventions, I would always take my 3DS with me, even well after the Switch came out, just so I could get more Street Passes. Why did they not put that on the Switch? Isn't the Switch a portable machine? Of course it is. It may not be as much of a handheld as the 3DS was, but if Nintendo wants people to take their Switch out on the go with them, why didn't they bring Street Pass over to it? It doesn't make any sense to me. But you know what's a bigger tragedy to me is the lack of Miiverse. Miiverse was so cool on the Wii U and later the 3DS. It was kind of its own social media where players could help others get past tough spots in games, such as this guy right here who can't figure out why Metroid doesn't crawl. Even looking beyond Miiverse and Street Pass, there was PictoChat on the Nintendo DS. This was a cool chat room which lets you send messages and heinous drawings to your friends. And this predated the likes of Facebook Messenger, Snapchat, Draw Something, all those social apps. It's part of what made the Nintendo DS the second best-selling console of all time. You'd think Nintendo would learn from their past successes and carry them over to their new successes. But they don't. The Nintendo Switch makes it harder than ever to play with your friends through online. And it's not even the fact that voice chat is tied to a phone app, save for a few games like Fortnite, but you can't even message your friends still. Why can't you message your friends on this tablet-like device? I don't get it. Why did Nintendo have to backpedal so hard with the Switch? The Nintendo DS had built-in voice chat. Are you kidding me? The Switch just doesn't feel like a social platform as much as previous Nintendo consoles, and it's a shame because it had the potential to be just that with its portable nature. So why is Nintendo like this now? Why are they so against injecting charm into their products that aren't just their games? Why can't we have that with the Switch menu? Why can't we see that in Nintendo Directs? Why is Miiverse dead? I have a theory, I don't know how sound it is, but it's likely they tried overcorrecting the failure of the Wii U by making the Switch as least like it as possible. That may sound a bit funny, but I think there's a more sound theory behind this lack of charm from Nintendo, if you will. In a Reddit AMA with former Nintendo developer Giles Goddard, he said that ever since Iwata died, the company has essentially been run by the shareholders, who now care more about financial results than they do about literally anything else. I am just grateful we still get a bunch of great games out of this instead of a few live service games, which seems to be the route the rest of the industry is going in. And I think that timing is when we can really start to see a shift in Nintendo's overall image. Not just with the sad, tragic passing of Iwata, but also the retirement of Reggie Fils-aime. Nintendo has not been the same company ever since the departure of those two individuals. It's why we don't see live-action sketches like Reggie Fils-aimech anymore. It's why Nintendo Directs are fairly straightforward and to the point. It's because Nintendo's goal right now is to just get their games and get their hardware into the hands of millions of people. And to their credit, it's working. I just wish we could have had a balance of both. Because if you ask me if I had to choose between the Switch era and the Wii U and 3DS era, of course I'm going to choose the Switch era 9 times out of 10. 10 times out of 10 maybe. Because that thing might just have the best library out of any Nintendo console, period. But it stinks that it feels like we have to choose between the two. Could you imagine the Switch library just remaining untouched, but we still get those Nintendo Directs filled with charm and personality to them? Doesn't that just sound incredible to you? So how can Nintendo course correct, I guess, this lack of charm in their industry, this lack of Rizz, if you will? Well, to me, I think it starts with their next console. And for the love of God, please just make that thing have some customizable features. Give us custom wallpapers, real folders, not that group crap. And if you can't do wallpapers, give us more colors than black and white, please. Variety is the spice of life, you know? And also, make that online system better, man. Just a little bit better. Let us message our friends at the very least. It shouldn't be that hard. But finally, I leave you with this. If you can't have those entertaining Nintendo Directs anymore, at least make them feel personable again. Right now, when I'm watching them, I feel like I'm just being sold products by talking corporate heads. I'm not sharing in the enthusiasm of an upcoming release with a developer who's just as excited about the game as I am. That kind of stuff is really important to me, and I hope Nintendo takes that into account come the next console generation. And if they don't, we just have to make sure that the Switch 2 doesn't sell nearly as well as the Switch 1, and then Nintendo will go back to being desperate again and give us those Robot Chicken sketches.
Not my problem.
I'm joking, of course, but overall, the Switch is a great console that deserves all the success it has received. I just don't want Nintendo to lose sight of the company they used to be. One that treated its fans like people and not just numbers on a spreadsheet. Of course, they're corporations, they always treat people like numbers on a spreadsheet, but at least the people in charge of those Nintendo Directs made me feel special. So, what do you think? Do you miss those elements of Nintendo from the Wii U era? Let me know in the comments, and be sure to subscribe to GameXplain and hit that notification bell for more videos on Nintendo and all things gaming. Until next time, bye-bye.